ask them, do your children drive a golf cart?
Yours does too. I've seen her drive it
It's a
a million
mule.
dollars color. I mean, I've
I
seen
mean,
it.
I'm not,
It's a
hey, I don't
mule.
want to hit below the belt. We're
I
not
don't
gonna get
either, but I've seen her
petty.
drive it.
We're not gonna get petty about that. If we want to have a war of signatures,
There's no reason to have a war signature.
Well, I guess real quick, my problem is the Article D in that says that if it increases traffic, it's a restriction.
If it
And
If
we've
it's a
got
nuisance
28
or a
signatures
hazard.
that says
traffic
it's
which creates substantial traffic problems or hazards.
well, we've got 28 people that, in this neighborhood that feels that it does. So I guess my question, like Diane asked, if we're gonna allow this, you got 28 citizens that are mad about it. Most of them are older, didn't want to be here or not because of coronavirus. If we're gonna allow this in our neighborhood, we just talked about all the progress we're making on the square. Are we just saying all those boutiques should shut down, stop paying, don't pay commercial taxes, don't pay your extra utility bills that you got to pay on the square, just run it out of your house? Let's, is that the direction we're trying to go? Is, I guess my question.
This ordinance was passed in 1965. It's been an ordinance of the city since then. And so it's always been there.
So it should never be changed.
No, I didn't say that. But I'm saying it's not something that was just done. And it's been there for 55 years.
Can we make a motion to get it changed?
You can amend, there's a process to amend the zoning ordinances. It has to go to planning and zoning first, then have a hearing and things like that. But it's an amendment to the zoning ordinance. And there's a process to that. And if that's what we want to do, that's the process.
There,
Yeah.
if we were to change it, new ordinance, is it retroactive?
No.
So existing can stay.
Yeah. Be grandfathered in. It's be a non-conforming law.
But I just wanted to get that out so that they understand that if we do change it, as long as she maintains her business.
The whole issue is whether or not it creates substantial traffic problems or hazards. And there just has to be some type of study done on the traffic patterns, see if it creates a substantial.
We can put traffic counters out there.
Yeah, it creates a substantial traffic problem.
If you do that, I can assure you there won't be
one
any
family.
traffic or wall.
No, that's all we can do. We can't say, no, you can't have this home occupation, which comes under the ordinance for home occupation, just by somebody signing a petition saying, we don't want it. We have to have evidence. In order to do that, that's how, we try to keep the city from being sued. Yes?
So do you think, the question I asked a while ago, I really want to know the answer, I want it to be written on the records.
Uh-huh.
So you're saying, we have like 8 over there from Miss Collier lives. We have 5 on College. We have 11 in Watson Edition. So this is going to hit home to places where our people live. They turn over about every year because that's the nature of properties. So if the people want to put in a home occupation, they do not have to have a license, an agreement, or anything from the city. This was opened up without any of us knowing it. So they can just hang a small sign in their front yard, open it up, and traffic can start coming and going.
Okay.
Is that going on the books as the record tonight? And if
What
it is, it's
I'm
going to change
saying,
a lot.
okay, what I'm saying to you is that as long as they meet the criteria of a home occupation, then yes, they can.
If that many neighbors consider it a nuisance,
No, that's different.
it's written on there, so I wish, I'm like my son and these others that were talking on the way up here, we would really want you to just think, if this was on each side of the house you're living in, are you perfectly going to be happy with it? Because it will be happening, because times are hard, people, she may not
I own
save the
houses as
money.
well. I didn't know that we could, I've only looked for renters. I've never looked for businesses to move into rent houses. So that's news to me.
And again, well, you can't just open up a business and a rent house.
Why
You
not?
have to live there.
Why not? We've got some that have 3,600 square feet.
If you have to come under what the home occupation definition is.
That's what
Or
we're
say the
saying.
residents.
Okay, if you do, then
So,
okay.
so all the boutiques on the square, all the lawyers, the insurance agents, the real estate agents, all of them, they can shut their business down and
If
operate out of our
if
house.
they want to, if they want to work out of their house, no more than 2 persons from outside the house being employed, no advertising except for a small sign, not a 9-foot square sign attached to the house. If that's how they want to do it, then yes, they would come under this.
Can they put it on social media and spread the word that way about the
Yes.
prices, all that?
Yes, I don't know of any, there's nothing that prohibits it.
I think she wants you to clarify no advertising.
No display of, or advertising other than a non-illuminated identification. Yeah, you probably could put it on social media.
I mean, is there a ruling on whether you can put it on
No.
social media?
No,
Can that be
again.
interpreted?
Hmm?
Can that be interpreted?
Yeah,
Who interprets it? A group of people from our city or just one person?
it would be up, it would first be, code enforcement.
We have been told, the code enforcement, they have to follow your ruling.
They have to follow, I don't make rulings.
I guess your interpretation. Do you make
My
interpretations?
interpretation. Yes.
Well, I'm confused. So are we upset because of the traffic in the neighborhood, or are we upset about the social media advertising? What is the issue?
Well,
I'm
they're
upset
about the
that-
traffic.
I would say the traffic on my behalf.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have y'all had trouble getting your driveway because of our traffic?
You don't live there, I'm not
No, I'm just
talking,
saying-
I'm not talking to you about it.
Yeah.
My neighbor had 6 cars there today for, cars parked on the street and everything, but it's his family. I mean, like, there's several families in our neighborhood that own 4 to 5 vehicles.
My name's Franny. If I could, I would just like to say, our objection, plain and simple, is that a commercial business has opened and is operating in our neighborhood. We feel like it puts our neighborhood atmosphere in jeopardy, our personal safety perhaps in jeopardy, the ability to sell our home in jeopardy, and our value of our home in jeopardy. Plain and simple.
Okay, all we have to work with is what the ordinances say. And if somebody qualifies and conforms with the definition of a home occupation, then they can have a home occupation.
And so your advice to us would be that we would need to do a study to prove or disprove.
I'm not giving advice.
Okay. From what I'm gathering then, we would need to do a study to either prove or disprove that there is an increase in traffic.
If there would have to be some evidence.
Are pictures evidence?
There would have to be some evidence. And it can be lots of different things.
Okay.
That the traffic is increased and creates a substantial traffic problem in Athens. We have to go by what the evidence is, not just what people say.
Thank you.
I know on one of the phone calls that I received, I suggested that we bring a traffic counter out there and it was turned down. So,
How long will it be left out there? Indefinitely?
Normally we leave a traffic counter 2 or 3 weeks,
One?
right?
We usually do it 1 week, but we can leave it as long as you want it.
No need to-
Well, 1 week doesn't necessarily predict the next 52 weeks. Because if I knew somebody was counting the traffic that was pulling in front of my house, and I didn't want the traffic number to be high, I would make other arrangements that week. I think that's common knowledge.
The problem with the traffic counter is, just to be honest, is there's no baseline.
Right.
So,
Mr. Hancock?
One question here, if you're gonna do a traffic study, what's your baseline?
Yeah.
That's the question Marco just asked.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
And, just a comment, with this virus going around and a lot of people not employed, there's a whole lot of other people out driving around the streets than normal.
And then does a Does the traffic counter count a golf cart?
You can
It
tell,
will
can't
probably pass anything that goes through there now because it's not the hoses anymore, it's an electronic eye.
you? Oh.
And it would classify it different, I don't know how it would classify it, because it classifies trucks, cars, and so forth when it goes through there. But it'll count everything that goes through there, vehicle that goes through there.
Mr. Hancock, when I talked to you the other day, you said this could be heard by a court. Is that a possibility?
Well,
I'm not a lawyer, so they asked what recourse they had, and I said, they talked to you and talked to counsel.
yeah, eventually it could get to court.
How do we go about doing that?
I can't give you the advice on that.
Where would we seek out that advice?
An attorney. An attorney.
Okay. That'd be
You gotta
fine.
understand, I represent the city.
Mr. Wallace, do you have something?
My name is Eric Wallace. I'm a resident in the Greenfield subdivision. My wife and I have owned a business out of our home for the last 14 years, a home daycare. By the state of Missouri, we're only allowed to run that business out of our home. It has to be either in the home or attached to the home. We can't go out here on the square or anywhere else in town and buy property and run that business. So I just kind of want to put the traffic in perspective. At capacity, we had just over 20 cars a day in our neighborhood. You know, and we've been out there 6 years. We've never had a complaint from our neighbors. They welcomed us from the start. We actually wanted to build in Shelton Place, and they have a covenant against it. And so we couldn't go out there. So we chose Greenfield for that reason. Talked to the neighbors ahead of time. And they 20 cars a day. It's really not that much. It's really all in the morning and all in the afternoon. So as Tiffany today, I said, how many, what's your max? And she said, 8 cars. That's your max in a single day. So I just, when you look at it as a city as a whole, let's keep that in mind. There's a lot of businesses out there that, like ours, that's our only choice. It's the only option we have. And, the last thing we want to do as a city is shut down a daycare or anybody trying to, do good for themselves. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
What are the intentions of zoning laws? Is it to keep similar activities in similar areas? Is that what it's about? Because it says residential and then there's commercial. I will say this, there is not one person in our neighborhood that doesn't wish them well. They just want them to not set a precedence, because our neighborhood could be completely overrun by traffic, because we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have insurance people. I do a management for property. I do not even let them bring their rents out there. I do not let them do contracts there. We meet in a commercial area, they bring their rents there, and we do their contracts there. The people don't even know where I live, because I don't want my neighbors, because I don't know a lot of these people. They come from out of town, they're not just hometown people. And, I just don't want them to come out there casing our neighborhood and thinking, and people feeling like they have to keep things put up. To me, residential is really for activities that are family oriented. And commercial is for activities that's where you provide a service for a person and they pay you for their service. And I know that, like, I bought a house in Miles Richardson in a similar time that I did the industrial building in the industrial park. I paid 19 cents on the dollar for the residential property. And y'all know all this, but maybe not everybody in this room knows this. I paid 30 cents on the valuated dollar for the commercial property. I'm just saying, there's such an appeal, and with times getting hard, if we set this precedence, it's probably gonna be, like the guy across the street is a lawyer, the guy next door to me sells insurance, and there's two doctors at the other end, and Cosby's bakery girl, she would probably much rather, not have to pay in utilities uptown North. It's just such a draw to pull away from our commercial area if we allow it. And, I mean, I don't know if he cares me saying this or not, but Scott Hunter has a wife that's a nurse practitioner. I mean, if she could stay home with their little child and have her patients come and go and not having much overhead, I mean, but they live out there on the street next to where my daughter lives. And do I want the Lena's patients to be parking there in that area and Ryland out riding a bicycle? Because I don't know Delana's patients, and I doubt he would do that. I think he has more respect for his neighborhood, but I don't think that it's like that. But anyhow, that's my opinion between me and Scott. But I'm just saying, it is just like Marco, he does dumpsters. But he does it in a commercial area. It's just, I've been in this town 50 years, and it's just so strange to me that I've been told no so many times about people that want to come and rent a house, maybe just to do assistant health care for feet or something. They might just have kind of like a cosmetic license for that. And I have been told no about various things the whole 20 years. And all of a sudden, and we didn't even, I didn't even think, I sold them the house, and I didn't even think they were going to put a business in there. If I had even thought they were going to, I wouldn't have sold it to them because I still live on that street and my grandchildren play in those streets. And whether it's one person or 20 people a day, it's bringing outside people in. And we were up there where nobody came out there. The only people we ever saw was just people that we knew their face.
Miss Diane, I'll sell it back to you. That'll make it better.
I'll give you $200 back. I make sure $200,000 back and give you the other house.
Yeah, that's not the deal. But if you want to buy the house back there in Square, I will
If you'll
happily
take
sell it to
if you'll
you.
take your trade in, I'll give you the money back.
No, I'm not taking the trade-in, but I'll sell it outright to you tomorrow. I will.
I will give you the house. This
I
is
don't
not,
want
this
the
is really
house.
getting personal. I don't
Well,
want
you
this.
do that at another date, big time. Do we have any other,
Solution. It's a solution.
community, response? If none being, then, we do have to have to go into a closed session. So we'll adjourn this meeting. We need a motion to go into closed session.
Motion.
Second. All in favor, roll call.
Yeah. Yes.
All in favor, 5 minutes break.
We're gonna need 10 minutes.